But before we move to refreshments and chatter and books, does anybody have a question they'd like to pose for Stanley or me, or a thought? I think you were speaking about Yehuda Amichai at first, right? When you're talking about Jerusalem?
Absolutely.
Okay.
About his saying smell, there's, it's the sexual smell of
Jerusalem?
Israel.
Of Israel.
And I said, where did he get his meaning from? He said, oh, it's not a Hebrew word, it's an Arabic word.
Right. Did y'all catch that?
And that's the truth.
Wow.
I'd love to get shot at.
What?
He wants questions.
Oh, shot at in that sense.
Well, it was did I read anything that made anyone uncomfortable?
No.
You did provoke a memory for me by that. I mean, a memory from my father's youth, that he used to never hesitate to jump in and swim in that East River from the Lower East Side of Manhattan, where he grew up. And the mention of the East River immediately brought that thought up in my mind. So.
And did I hear, you refer to the poet putting his father's ashes into a condom and throwing them into the East River?
That's correct.
That was Hart Crane, right?
But he also threw himself into the...
Threw himself into the ocean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Who are some poets that you really love or have shaped your poetry over the years?
I beg your pardon?
Who are some poets you love?
You said have gone Shakespeare poetry over the...
No.
Yeah.
Who are some poets you love who have shaped your poetry?
Well, first of all, I'm a little deaf. I heard Shakespeare poetry.
No.
Shaped your.
So through the poets,
Shaped.
through the years, one thing I was different with is when I was, in my teens, somebody gave me a book, and I read Rambo and Jose Garcia Lorca and Rambo. And I was so knocked over by these poets who come on later in life to most people. They came to me, and so Walt Whitman came on later to me, and I wasn't a beat poet by any means, but I knew all the beats and they knew me. I used to work at New Directions, and so I knew all those songs.
You've written about reading harmonium, Wallace Stevens, on
Yeah, well, that's true.
a warship.
When I went to the Navy, I took one book with me, was Wallace Stevens, and then I met Wallace Stevens early on.
Oh. Thank you, Stanley.
Okay.
Thank you for reading. And we invite you to stay and have some drinks, some hot tea.
By the way, who are the poets here?
Who are the poets, Stanley wants to know? It's Raphael, Andrei Kudrevsky, and
Andrei Kozlowski.
I'm completely unknown. Don Badgley.
Don Batchley.
John Bassey. Yeah, I know you too. Where do I know you from? Woodstock or something?
That's very possible.
Now, one of the things which is the case, I'm 98 and 2/3.
God bless you.
And I forget a lot of things that I used to know very well. And what's is terrible is that people come up to me and say, "Hi, Stanley, how you doing?" And I don't know who the hell they are. And I sort of pretend. The other thing that happens, which is a lot of fun, when I was a kid, I was somewhat precocious. And I used to be the youngest. I went to literary parties, and I used to be the youngest kid in the room. There weren't kids. They were, you know, guys like ordinary. Now it's I'm the oldest person, and I went to a party, and I see a long guy with a long gray beard and whatever, and walking like this. And I ran up to him thinking I found something older than I am, 5 years younger.
Bravo. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can you just